Hello, this is Hunter McDermott with another episode of Guitar Blog. We're up to number 16. It is Monday, November 4th, 5:10 p.m., 2019. So this is cool. I like when things just sort of line up in an interesting way. So I was thinking that what I would do, so in the Jazz Blues Accelerator course that I've been going through, which comes from the Learn Jazz Standards site, I have reached the point where I've taken the blues head au prévave, and I've taken a blues etude that comes with the course, and some other things like guide tone maps, scale maps, chord tone maps, and I've learned those all in 4 different keys. So we've done going around the circle, C, F, B flat, and E flat, and then the 5th step before we move on to a different phase of the course is to compose your own blues head, basically, or you can do it as a solo. I think the option is to just solo if you want, and so that was what I was getting prepared to do anyway, and I thought that it might be kind of cool to do it on video, just do it here, and kind of talk about what I'm thinking about as I go through it, which I will do. And then the Learn Jazz Standards podcast that came out today is Brent taking a half an hour or so to compose a song of his own in real time, which I thought that was cool. I really like that stuff because it's just fun to see people for who they really are. Like, he's very professional on his podcast usually, and in his videos and stuff, which is good. And so he's got questions prepared, and he does interviews, and he's got material and all that kind of stuff, and all that's fantastic. But it's kind of nice every now and again to see him be a little bit more human. The kind of videos that I do, where I have a very loose plan and then I just talk at you. That's what I like. Maybe you don't like that, but that's what I like. So that was cool, and it was serendipitous, or perhaps just fun coincidence, that it came out like that the same day that I wanted to do something basically the same for his course. So anyway, that's what I'll do. So we should get started then. I thought, even though we've done 4 keys, my inclination would be to do it in B flat, because I like the key of B flat when it comes to blues. It just, the arpeggios and everything that fit in this part of the guitar feel really nice. Now F is also a very common blues, but I don't play it very often. And it's the key that au prévave is originally in, so I feel like I'll get the biggest bang for my buck if I just compose this in F, and I can certainly, transpose it into other keys, which is part of the course. So I have some advantages over what Brent did in his podcast, because I have some specific constraints. I'm going to do an F blues. That's the form that I'm going to use, which is slightly more than a standard 12-bar blues and a little bit less than like a full-on Parker-style blues. Some missing 2 5s in there, but that's good. Going to keep it simple. I'm going to do it in F, and I'm going to... the first module of the course, which is divided into 3, the first one is focusing on bluesy language, as I've talked about before. So not worrying so much about outlining chords, that comes next. So even though I'm starting to already do that stuff in my own playing and kind of hearing it in my head, I want to focus mainly on just kind of like cool little licks, I guess. Just keeping it more connected to the blues scale and just neat sounding bluesy stuff, rather than worrying about hitting chord tones and nailing the changes. That'll come later. So those are my goals. And then I think a third thing, which I may or may not adhere to, is it'd be kind of cool to be able to mix chords and the melody of the song, which means that I might alter the rhythm of the melody to allow myself to hit a chord, just because I think it'd be kind of cool to be able to play this without any accompaniment, which is, again, something that Brent does in his podcast. Is you can hear him playing the rhythm and the chords and then throwing the melody in, and he's composing it all as one kind of complete piece, which you might play it differently with a band or whatever, but just to have it as a complete thing that you can play by yourself is nice. And is not something that I spend a lot of time doing when it comes to jazz material. All right, so here we go. So starting out, just playing around with ideas. I had thought that it'd be cool to start with like a big chromatic thing. So I think that's a cool way to start. And that leads you right into the third of the B flat, so it kind of works out, starting on the root of the F. Maybe throw an enclosure type of thing there. Which takes you to the third of the F, which is nice. So that's kind of a cool phrase. If I can play it. So, let's see if I can play it. Okay, so yeah, I think that's cool. That's already a theme I'm kind of developing in my head, is just being really chromatic, trying to hit, it's sort of bebop-y, but it's also just running chromatically to my target. That's another instance of hitting the third there on the B flat. So I like that. And I like that it jumps up a little bit. Alright, so now we're on the B flat. Alright, so I might ignore that B flat chord and just kind of hold the third there. And then I think it'd be cool, since we're making a shift in bar 6 to the sharp 4 diminished, that B diminished, to do something diminished-y there. And I have been working on my arpeggios. So this will be an instance where I think it'd be cool to play to the chord. That's kind of cool. Maybe end on the root. So like a little descending kind of phrase. Let's see. Rather than landing on the root, let's see. maybe I do that. Can't decide if I'll do that B or B flat. So let's see. Yeah. Something hanging out on that just to really drive the tone. Let's see, so. Because I'll still be on that chord on beat 4. That'll still outline. Okay. Okay, that's cool. And now I'm to this bar 8, which I might just ignore and then come back in on the 2-5. So no, I don't want, it's like maybe a walk up. Maybe that'd be a good place for like a bebop scale. What do we got there? Playing a D. Yeah, okay. And that lands us on the 5th of the minor chord to G minor, the 2 chord. So be kind of cool to do. Maybe do some movement there. And then maybe bring that kind of thing back from here, but just on the F chord, because it's gonna finish out with 2 bars of F rather than doing the quick 2-5s. I'm just gonna keep it straight. So Something like that, maybe. Maybe like end on a half step, trying to jump. Maybe that's cool. Just keep it kind of obvious. I'm not sure about that part. I'm not sure if that's gonna fly. Alright, let me lay down some chords so I can hear how this really is gonna sound. One, two, three, four. I don't like that ending, but that's all cool. Yeah, okay. That's okay. I might play around with it a little bit more. But that's kind of cool. I actually like... It's funny, I'm battling against what my head is telling me from just like a rote sort of standpoint. This is the kind of thing I've heard before, so do that. And then the part of me that goes, but I want to do something different. So this last lick sounds sort of cheesy to me, and I would like to find something better there. For this video, I think I'll just leave it. And the fact that it just kind of cleanly ends on the root, I don't know, it'd be cool to do something with some extensions or something, so I might rework that. But then this part, doing what would that be, a 13? Kind of minor 13 thing. And then like the root to the 9. Because I'm bringing in those extensions. So that feels kind of cool, even though I was saying, as I was playing, I was going, I don't like that, because it's interesting because it's hitting my ear in a way that says, that's not like something that you've heard. So it must be wrong, right? So it's cool to recognize that something is hitting your ear weird. It's kind of a theme for, or a goal or whatever, for my whole life, I think, is to like recognize when that happens, when something hits me and I feel weird about it. Like, rather than go, that's bad, go back to something good, I need to recognize that it's challenging. It's not a bad thing, it's just unfamiliar to me. And that usually means it requires or deserves to be looked into more deeply. Like, maybe there's a reason why it is bad. Maybe it's actually really good and I just haven't appreciated that it's different. Or maybe just different for different sake is really good. That's really cool. I would recommend checking out the movies of David Lynch for something like this, for somebody who is really going to take you to an uncomfortable place and not bother to necessarily always make sense or to keep a story stitched together in a traditional way. And, you know, your first reaction, if you're not familiar with that kind of stuff, might be, that movie didn't make any sense, or he just totally dropped this plot line, or that was stupid or confusing or boring or whatever. And you could absolutely use all those words to describe a lot of his stuff, but I think at the same time, those qualities are what make it so fascinating and so original. The fact that it's really, nobody else is doing at the sort of mainstream level, the kind of things that he is doing, and it's great. And I want to seek out more of that stuff personally, so that when it comes time to write things like I'm doing right now, I don't shy away from things that are unfamiliar or a little weird or different. So, by the same token, even though I think that sounds cheesy, maybe it's perfect. Maybe it's fine. Like, the opposite is, maybe it sounds too much like what I'm used to and I'd like it to be different, but maybe it's not bad, you know. So I'll rework it and figure out kind of a final version, but that's a good place to start. I think that achieves some of my goals for that stuff. So anyway, thank you for watching this week. I don't know where I'll be next week. I've been playing around a lot on Green Dolphin Street and looking at analyzing tunes a little bit, and just getting to where I can play something over it, even if it's just, you know, a couple different scales. That's going a long way toward me feeling more creative. I think I've kind of I tend to try different methodologies, find the one that I like, and then go into it and think, everything that I've ever known needs to fit into this way of thinking. But that's stupid. That's very limiting. It's good to go, heads down on something for a while so that you really understand it, but not at the exclusion of something else. So in my case, I think I learned about scales and thought scales is how you improvise. And then somebody was like, yeah, but arpeggios. And then I tried arpeggios and I was like, ooh, I like this better. And then I thought, well, screw scales. I won't worry about that. But scales are actually really important. It's good to be able to play the chord tones, but to also play everything else that's in the scale. Hitting all those non-chord tones can be extremely great. That's what I think I love so much about listening to Miles Davis. He focuses a lot on those extensions, and he'll like really lay on a note. Like, I feel like that chord is actually in blue and green. Right, that kind of thing is really cool. I don't think it's in that key, but anyway. So now I'm kind of shifting my thinking back to, all right, let me work on my scales. Like, if I can get really good at playing scalar stuff and then switching between keys while I am playing a line, that can be extremely effective. And then worst case, I can fall back on an arpeggio or whatever. So I'm kind of want to build up that part of my playing as well. So who knows if I'll be talking blues stuff next week as I continue to work through the course, or if I'll be more in the On Green Dolphin Street type of thing next week, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care.